Betty Marie Jennifer was a mother, a sister, an aunt, a friend, and a boss. She was one of the flyest people there were and would do literally anything for those who were close to her. But most of all, she was a wonderful person to be around. December was one of my mom's favorite months. December was the month that she went all out to decorate the house. When I mean tell you all out, it was just crazy. Also, when I finished my semester, of course I was coming home for the holidays. I totaled my car. My mom bought me a Honda Civic for my first car. So it definitely was a sentimental car, number one, because it was my first car, and then number two, it was a car that I was paying for out of my own pocket, and a car that my mom helped me get. So it was a 3-lane. It was a 2-lane and opened up to a 3-lane. And it was like it just started raining. Where I was coming from, it was like sunny, nice weather, all of this nice stuff, and it just started raining. I was in the middle lane, and a car on my right-hand side was trying to get over, but they weren't fully up to merge, if that makes sense. They weren't fully in front of me to merge. So I kind of I kind of scooted over to my left lane. I wasn't fully in the left lane. I was like in the middle of the dotted lines. And when I tried to come back into the middle lane that I was in to realign, of course, because I'm in the middle of the dotted lines on the left-hand side, the car went crazy. The car just started like weaving back and forth. I couldn't really control the car. The wheel was really just fighting, like pulling me this way, pulling me that way. And I just remember like my driving teacher and when my parents told me if a car slides, like kind of just let go of the wheel and let the car do it, because if you keep fighting it, it's going to make it worse. So I essentially just let go of the wheel and like kind of loosened up in the wheel so that my hands were still wrapped around it, but it wasn't like cuffed on it, and like controlling it and trying to force it back into the lane. When I did that, the car just started flipping. And in that moment, a lot of people, I guess, expected me to be scared and for me to be grateful. But in that moment, I was okay. Like, I really wasn't scared. I wasn't like terrified. I wasn't anything. It was just kind of like, if this happens, this happens. It wasn't something that I was scared I was about to die. I was at ease. I was comfort. It was just like I seen the car flip. When it went down once, my car flipped 3 times. And when it went down once, I was like, okay. It went down twice, the airbags ejected. And then went down a 3rd time. I'm like, okay, let me start covering my face, because I moved out of my dorm my first semester because I was moving different places. So I had stuff in my back seat. It wasn't nothing where I couldn't see in the back. I could still see in the back. But of course things were flying. And I just started covering my face. But when the car finally stopped, I just looked around and was like, what the hell just happened? I wasn't crying. I wasn't scared. I wasn't in any pain. But when I just sat there, honestly. And the guy did pull over and he did like look around the car, and I just sat there, and then I was like screaming for help because I couldn't get my door open. So I had to basically climb out of the back seat, and the guy was so nice, and I never caught his name, but his girlfriend, I believe, went to ODU. He was coming back or something along that lines. And I was so grateful that he did stop, because that was my first car accident. So I was definitely very grateful for that. Before I called my cousin, though, I did call 5 other people, and nobody answered. And I feel like that's when I started panicking. Like, I'm on the side of the road. My car airbag ejected. The windshield is shattered. The tires and the axles are done. Like, the ceiling caved in on me. My roof, my sunroof, like glass all over me. Like, pretty much this car is totaled. I can see it was totaled. But when other people did figure out about my car, everyone was just like, oh my God. But like I said, I wasn't scared. I was okay to die. It was just so weird. I was okay to just be like, this is it. I was okay. I was content. And I don't want people thinking, oh, I'm suicidal, I'm so this, I'm so that. That wasn't the case, but it was like, if this is what it is, this is what it is. I feel like I had that mindset, and I started getting that mentality, just because what I realized is everyone has an end date, and you don't know when that date is. And if that date's today, if that date's tomorrow, there's nothing you can do about it. Eventually, that date is going to happen. Eventually, that day is going to come. Everyone in the hospital was just so shocked when they seen my car, because of course I had pictures of it, and they seen that I was in this accident with no injuries, no broken bones, no bruises, no pain, nothing. Only thing I was cold because my pants were wet because I stepped in a puddle trying to get out the car. But that was it. It was nothing. And everyone kept telling me, oh my God, like, are you okay? Like, and I was just sitting there calm, just like, yeah, my car flipped 3 times. Do you have any pain? No. Does your head hurt? No. Does your back hurt? No. What hurts? Nothing. So, like, everyone was just so amazed. They just couldn't believe it. So, of course, they're thinking, okay, let me still run some tests to make sure. All the tests came back negative. I wake up the next day, nothing is wrong with me. Nothing. I don't feel sore. I don't have a headache. It's nothing. Like, no bruises on my body. It literally was just like I never got in a car accident. Like, my car didn't flip 3 times. Like, it was just so crazy. And I definitely do feel like that my mom was on my side in that car accident. I definitely do feel like it wasn't my time to go. And was I mad? No. If that wasn't my time, that wasn't my time. Christmas was definitely hard for my brother and I. I definitely do feel like my brother did take it harder and stuff like that. My brother was very an introvert. He already is an introvert, but during Christmas, he really just stayed to himself, really just laid down, didn't go nowhere. He didn't really want to open his gifts or anything, which is understandable. But for me, it was hurting me to see that my brother was in this much pain. Like, I was in pain too, but to see him like this, I've never seen my brother like this. It really just shocked me. It took me by surprise, and it was painful. It was like no matter what you did, no matter what you brought him, it wasn't going to take away the fact that our mother was not here this Christmas. And it was definitely something new, and it was definitely something that we both had to adjust to, and I feel like we would never fully adjust, but to just really understand it. And I feel like we are not at that point yet because it was our first year, it was our first Christmas, and it definitely was a learning experience. It was definitely things that we will do next year that we didn't do this year, and vice versa. Christmas was a good time. I did like being around my family and everything, but it definitely was hard just knowing how Christmas was growing up. Even when we were 17, Christmas was still the same growing up. Like, you knew the decorations were going to still be there. You knew that this was still going to be made on Christmas Day. It was a tradition. It was the same. And it was certain things that my aunt and my cousin couldn't recreate, and it's nothing wrong with that because of course every family has their own traditions, and I'm extremely grateful for everything that my cousins and that my aunt did for me and my brother on Christmas. And my aunt really did take us in like we are her own kids too, and that definitely was very, very nice, and that definitely did show this Christmas, and I was very grateful very grateful for that, and just very extremely happy. But it was a sad and happy time at the same time. But December was a hard month, and I feel like December will be a hard month for as long as we live, just because of all the traditions and all the pictures that we have and all the memories that we have of Christmas and how much we knew our mother enjoyed Christmas. It's just something that I feel like will always be a hard month. For 2019, it definitely was a year, definitely something that I did not expect. Definitely was a year that I thought was going to be all celebration, nothing else. Although it was not fully that, it was definitely a year of learning. It was definitely a year of experiences and growing up. And 2019 will definitely be a memorable year. It will never be a year that will be forgotten. It will never be anything that I would wish on anybody else, not even my worst enemy. It was a hard year. It was a year that I did not think I was going to get through. It was the months that I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? How am I going to go day to day? But I had to just take it minute by minute, hour by hour. It was something that you really just you never knew what tomorrow was. You never knew what new drama was going to come tomorrow. You never knew what you were going to face tomorrow. And I just felt like all of 2019, well, not all, but from May to December of 2019, it was a year that I felt like, oh my God, can I catch a break? Like, just when I thought I was catching a little bit of a break, I wasn't. And it definitely was weird to wake up in just a matter of one day and step into a role that you really we're not ready for. Step into 1,001 role. Step into something that an average 18-year-old is not doing. An average 18-year-old is not dealing with. And it was definitely hard. It was definitely a year that was growth and learning, but at the same time, it was a year that grew my family closer more than ever. And I just want 2020 to be a year that I really prosper and really do what my mom will want me to do, and just to honestly make my family happy and make my mom happy and really achieve a lot of goals that I set for 2020.